Good evening, friends. I know you are surprised why I just randomly came up live. Well, this is my new program. It's called POV with yours truly, my point of view. Um, I'd like to start this episode, this pilot episode tonight with you. I want to delve into a topic that resonates deeply with our youth and creative minds. It's been a long time that I wanted to talk about this. As a matter of fact, I wrote a book about the Philippine entertainment industry. That's why my topic today, my discussion is about the entertainment industry or a call for change. But before I continue, ladies and gentlemen, my this is not related to my ministry. Just to make that clear, this is my personal point of view, and this does not have any representations as far as my ministry is concerned. So I'm talking here as Julius Obregon. So welcome, and I hope that this new program that I will be bringing to you, maybe for now, maybe twice a week, would bring some insights to you coming from my point of view. Um, as I said, this has been a moment that I've been waiting for, so I can talk about these very crucial and important discussions about entertainment in the Philippines. So I'd like to just delve into this discussion, which I believe will resonate deeply with our youth and creative minds. Tayo po mga Pilipino, we're very creative, and our talents are just amazing. Our young artists, when I watch television, when I watch Facebook and YouTube, and I see our young artists that are posting their creative expressions, natutuwa po ako. And this discussion is particularly dedicated to artists, great or small. Kaya nag-uumpisa pa na po kayo o kayo sikat na. I pray that you will listen to this and look at this uh, objectively. Um, the state of the entertainment industry po in the Philippines ang ating pag-uusapan ngayon. Ah, tayo po, mahilig tayo sa music at show business. Ika nga, no? We're always updated, hindi po nahuhuli ang ating mga kababayan, ang ating bayan po pagdating sa showbiz. No? You see, it is a vibrant world filled with talent and passion, lalo na po sa ating country. Yet beneath, sa ilalim po, the glitch of glamour lies a troubling reality that many young artists face. Kasi tayo po sanay tayo sa mga entablado na mga maliliwanag na ilaw, glittering lights, and all those effects and everything. So we all we see is just what we see on stage, but behind that, hindi po natin nakikita yon, daily, araw-araw po mga kaibigan, we witness the extraordinary talents of young Filipino artists. Yan nga po sabi ko kanina, nakakatuwa, no? Uh, Meron pa ako nakikita sa Facebook na batang-bata pa, no? At talaga pong nakakatuwa. However, behind my conscience and my heart, my dear friends, I have something. I am compelled. Maybe it's my role to advocate ang katotohanan po na dapat malaman ng ating mga kabataan na nagsisimula pong to hitch their wagons to the stars. No, they sing, they act, and create with raw potential. Gagaling, no? Capturing the hearts of millions. Siguro kayo rin po at ako, no? However, however po, many of these promising individuals find themselves victims of lopsided contracts that leave them paid far less than they truly deserve. Yan po. No. Now, again, as I continue to talk about this, I am not talking or pointing this to a particular um, group or entity. Wala po. I'm talking based on my 50 years of being in the entertainment lane in my life. No? Now, it is unfortunate truth that the very system meant to nurture and elevate talent often exploits it instead. Alam mo, nakakalungkot po. Kasi, as I said kanina po, we just watch concerts, we praise and, we adore our favorite performers and artists, and that's great. But my dear friends, behind that, we don't know the story. And I'd like to share this with you straight from the horse's mouth, sabi nga nila. Artists and musicians in our industry, not only po mga singers or performers, pati po ang ating mga musicians. No? They are very good. Our musicians are, are great talents par excellence in our industry. And they often find themselves without any protection against being exploited and underpaid. Aray. Now, marami po, struggle to make ends meet. Hindi nila po alam yan. And when illness strikes, I know a lot of friends, people, sikat po o nagsisimula o sa kalagitnaan po ng careers nila. When illness strikes them, the harsh reality becomes painfully clear. It's unbelievable. You don't know that. There is rarely po, a health care or insurance to support them during tough times. Ang mga entertainers po, walang insurance yan. No? They don't have protection. And this has been my dream and what I have, fought for many years ago. Just for the talents to receive attention that was due to them. Now, this absence of safety net leaves young talents vulnerable, making their artistic journeys even more daunting. Now, while there are so-called organizations, ayaw ko na pong banggitin, while there are so-called organizations existing ngayon po that was established particularly to protect artists' rights, many feel that little tangible change has been achieved. Wala, you know. As I said, I'm not going to mention names or names of entities or organizations, but I hope that this is resonating to them if you're listening. You know, you have an organization that was established for the main purpose to protect the rights and the needs of your fellow entertainers. But sadly, this has never been achieved as I speak. It's disheartening, to see initiatives that fall to materialize into real support or protective measures for the artists whom they claim to serve. Makalungkot po, no? Ayoko na, as I said, I would like to avoid mentioning names of entertainers or artists who I know personally who they got very ill and they passed away, and yet their families struggled, to find ease in the midst of their grief because of financial needs that were not met. That was duly for them, hindi po nila natanggap. Now, this structure creates an illusion of security while amplifying the sense of abandonment felt by creatives striving to make their mark. Moreover, if I may continue, we need to discuss how the rich and famous entertainers can play a pivotal role in initiating change. Yan. Matagal ko na pong inaantay yan, and I really pray that there will come a time, my dear friends, that those who are in the pinnacle of their successes, my dear friends, would come to a realization that there are people behind them who are also aspiring to be like them, and that I think their responsibilities or our responsibility, my friends, is to encourage and to be a living testament or example to these young people who are just starting their careers. The question is, what are we doing? No, as established figures in the industry, established, they possess the influence and resources to advocate for the rights and welfare of emerging artists. I'm not saying po na there are no groups there that advocates for the welfare of emerging artists. The thing is, sadly, no matter how they push and fight for the rights and the needs of the entertainers, they do not have the proper backup, no? And I believe that even government should come in, step in when it comes to these needs of our Filipino artists. Now, it is essential for them to demonstrate genuine care and concern for their fellow creatives or entertainers, supporting the younger generation in their careers. Supportahan ninyo yung mga kabataan. Kayo po, mga kapatid, ay nandun na kayo sa tugatog ng inyong mga successes, no? I've been there, no? I may not be so successful as others, but I praise God that He allowed me to come to that point in my life to enjoy fame and to be able to communicate or to articulate my music to people. Now, let's face it, when those who already occupy the heights of success take action, ayan, take action, it sends a powerful message that reinforces the need for a more equitable industry. Kailangan po yan. As we all know, my dear friends, let me just put my chat on. Action speaks louder than words. And the time for meaningful change is now. I'm not advocating or telling you to create chaos or to be angry or to fight. No, that is not the purpose of my discussion tonight. I just like to speak from my heart as an awakening, my dear friend, na baka po nakakalimutan natin na tayo po ng mga naging successful na ay dapat po nating tingnan ang mga artists po at mga musikero na sila po ay nagsisimula pa lang, no? Now, in addition to these pressing issues, kawawa naman, there is a significant bottleneck in our music and recording industry. It's a bottleneck. Kaya po, maraming artists, maraming aspiring artists, pero pagdating po dun sa pagiging pagkakataon pong sila po ay mapanood sa TV o magaling recording, hindi sila makapasok kasi po bottleneck masikip. Maluwag dito sa katawan ng bote. Pagdating po doon sa leeg ng bote ay nagsisiksikan. Kawawa naman, di ba? It's a bottleneck industry, my dear friends. Now, navigating the landscape can be akin to walking through a minefield. Totoo yan. Para pong naglalakad kayo sa minefield, no? Ang mga artists, itong mga nagsisimula. With artists frequently, palagi po, trapped in contracts, yan, that limit their opportunities. The lack of legal protections for the rights adds to the burden, further compounding the challenges they face in their careers. Nagsisimula na nga po hindi pa po sila naproproteksyonan ng mga kontrata, no? Siyempre, kung ikaw po bata ay excited ka, no? Pirma ka ng pirma, pirma doon, pirma rito. I speak through experience, my friends, pirma rito. Because, the world is so bright and colorful. It's so attractive. It can be demanding. It can be so, it can lure us, my dear friends, even to blind us from what is true and what are facts. Now, here's another problem. The creative control is another critical area where many young talents find themselves at a disadvantage. Yung creative control. Let me explain it. I can write a song, I want to sing this or to perform this, but because I have signed an agreement that I do not have control over my song, so nangyayari po mas, now say this straight, mas nag enjoy po ng profit at ng kasaganaan ang mga tao pong kumuha sa mga kawawa ng mga artist. At wala silang control. Kahit po sa gusto nilang kantahin, ang pagpili ng awit. Now, I give that to the, to the companies na, of course, they know what will be potentially a big hit, and that's their role and that's their industry. But what I'm saying is that it should not be to the extent that we lose control over our creative minds, no? Dapat po meron tayong voice at hindi lang po tayo tinuturuan na tayo para po tayong mga turuan. Kundi pakinggan din po nila ang ating pong nararamdaman at ang ating natatanaw po sa ating ginagawa. Now, far too often, artists are subject to terms, what is dictated by executives, focused more on profit than passion. Kasi po tayong mga artists, passion, no? That is the driving force of artists or musicians, I believe, and I really believe that what what drives us is the passion in our heart to communicate our creativity and our music and our talent. But sadly, these are being dictated by executives who are focused more on their profit than fulfilling the passion together with the artist. Now, the struggle for creative independence only adds to the pressure of breaking into the dog eat dog environment. I say that it's a dog eat dog environment. I've talked to young artists. I'm still helping some of them, or, my heart is for the young artists, those aspirants, my dear friends, because I've been there. I know how hard it is. And indeed, the industry is a dog eat dog environment. Hindi po ganun kadali yun, no? Uh, uh, the difficulty around, let me give you an example. For you to be famous, at least, and to garner a tremendous acceptance in social media or television or movies, you have to go through a certain achievement, like winning an international talent show, and make a name because you won. And hey, that's really deserving to those who won. But how many can be able to enjoy that opportunity, my friends? How many of you, these young artists, could go abroad, and participate or join these contests, my dear friend? I don't like to mention it, but you know what programs I'm talking about, you know. And it's very hard. And now, unless you win that at the end of the day and you come home as triumphant and victorious as you are, then, the doors are open wide for you to achieve fame. But what if not? Where validation is important and recognition feel like elusive goals. I feel you. Now, the years of hard work and sacrifice put into their art can often be overshadowed by marketing trends that prioritize image over authenticity. Yan pa pong isang trouble, ano? Ang mga kawawang, hindi kawawang cowboy, ang mga kawawa po ng mga bata o mga singers na sa totoo lang po magagaling. They're very good. Ako, tuwan-tuwa ako. I'm so proud of the Filipino artists. I'm so happy. I'm overwhelmed with joy and awe to see how great our performers are. Sayang po, they just lack support, you know. And yet, many of these issues are not new. Hindi po bago itong mga issue na ito. They have persisted throughout the history of Philippine entertainment. Matagal na po ito, nung panahon po ni Julius Obregon pa yung time ko, in the 70s. Now, the exploitation of artists, I'm sorry to use that word because I feel that there's no other word to, to say, the exploitation of artists, and that happens up to now, the focus on profit over passion or creativity, and the lack of protective laws have long hindered the growth of a thriving and equitable creative culture. the lack of protective laws. I really believe, and I wrote that in my book. It's my book title is called Scars, by Julius Obregon. It's available in Amazon right now. But uh, the protective laws, yung mga protective na mga batas na dapat mong proteksyohan ng ating mga artists ay wala. Yan po sa akin personally, and I say this in the spirit of love and reconciliation, no? That I think this was an oversight on the part of government natin. No? Um, Marami tayong issues na hinaharap, and I understand that. But I think this is a social issue and a cultural issue that must be addressed by our government leaders. I pray that maybe the president would indeed establish a committee or maybe an agency that will just protect, and that their job is to protect and to provide and to raise funds and what you call this, resources for the entertainers to enjoy in their pursuit to hitch their wagons to the stars. Napakaganda po. Ganun. So, let me tell you about yung mga K-pop. No? Patay na patay po ang buong mundo sa K-pop. But do you know that K-pop is a government-sponsored process. No? Pinifinance po ng gobyerno nila itong grupong ito. At they're honing their artists, hindi ho basta-basta dyan. You have to be the best, if possible, of the best. But ang nakakatuwa po is that they are spending money and resources. I don't know how they do that, but at least you could see that even government step in now when it comes to the development and cultivation of their resources, which are talents. Nakakatuwa. And then the world now recognizes them. All of us know about K-pop, the artists here and there, and they made huge, they made waves in the worldwide or global industry, at the entertainment of industry and recordings. Kasi po yan sila ay may protective laws po na naging sponsor po yung kanilang country mismo. So question, how do we change this story, this narrative? Now it starts with raising awareness and advocating for better treatment of our artists. Yan dyan po dapat nagsisimula. Dapat po maging aware. Hindi lang po ang gobyerno, kundi ang tao at mga kapwa-artista po na ang makita nila at maramdaman ang pangangailangan po ng mga bata o mga bagong mga artista na nagsisimula pa lamang sa kanilang careers. No? Nakakalungkot at nakikita ko po na, ito pong mga magagaling ng artist ay hindi pa sila nabibigyan ng tamang stadium or exposure. No? Hanggang doon na lang tayo sa opening act. Minsan tinatanong ko sarili ko, bakit ino-opening act itong artist na ito na napakagaling? Hindi pa ba mas maganda kung ito pong mga artist na mga bago, na magaling, maybe mas magaling pa sa inyo o sa atin, ay why don't we integrate them or make them part of the production and give them the rightful exposure equally, no? Yan ang nakakatuwa po. Na, because you're sharing your stage, if I may say, to these people. Hey, you got your stage already for years. You made money, you made fame and everything. Why not incorporate or make them part of your act, not only to open your act? Amen. Now, there should be calls to reforms that ensure fair agreement, protect artists' rights, and allow them to creative control. They need to express themselves authentically. Laws, mga batas po, must be enacted to safeguard these rights. That's why I am calling on the Philippine government, my dear friends, in a loving way, objectively, my dear friends. I'm not inciting chaos, as I said, or trouble, but I am inciting, my dear friends, unity and movement that will indeed foster and and embrace the environment of young artists, that they can thrive without looming fear and exploitation. To close, as we navigate the challenges of the entertainment industry, let us support those who bring joy and aspiration into our lives. Tayo po natutuwa tayo maging comedy, maging musical, maging banda, maging singers, recording. Tayo po tuwan-tuwa, naaaliw tayo sa mga pinapanood natin, ano? Sa telebisyon, sa online, sa social media. Tayo po ay natutuwa, mga kapatid. Pero, ano ang ginagawa natin? So, kailangan po suportahan natin itong mga ito na nagdudulot po sa atin ng kaligayahan at aliw. You know? Huwag natin silang i-echipwera, sabi nga. Tingnan natin sila. Let's look at them through the lens of God's eyes, which is what? Love, equality, and purpose. Now, we need to amplify the voices of young artists fighting for fair treatment and recognition. Together po, we can create a movement, no, that fosters creativity, support our talents, and ensures that the Philippine entertainment industry reflects the richness of our culture and the voices of our people. I really strongly believe, my friends, that this is doable. It's just a matter of taking time, I mean, genuine time, my dear friends, and reflection, that young artists in our country who are really tremendously uh, talented and great, you know. Nakakatuwa po, no? Ang ating po mga Pilipino artists po ay nananalo sa mga paligsahan sa ibang bansa, no? At isa po nating karangalan yun. At this should serve as a as an opportunity for the young or the youth to see that nothing is impossible, my dear friends, if the backbone of their careers is supported by government, lauded by the Filipino people, in even po, most of all, yung pong mga artista na nasa tugatog na po ng kanilang success at tagumpay. Eh sana po magkaisa talaga kayo, no? Na talagang talaga, no? Na magdulot tayo ng tulong sa mga artista na nagsisimula o yung matagal na siguro palubog na, no? Nakakalungkot po sa ating Pilipinas pag ikaw ay paseka na dun sa edad mo, katulad ni Pastor Julius, ay ano nangyayari? Wala ka, ikaw ay lipas na, no? Contrary dito po sa Amerika at sa ibang bansa, wala po ritong edad ang pinag-uusapan. 80 anyos na, 85 po. Si Tom Jones is 85 years old, but he still performs. Why? Because the the people are still supporting him, and they give value to his talent, you know. And many more, mga kaibigan. Alam po ninyo yan. And there should not be a monopoly of artists or performers in any country. Yung to monopolize the industry is really bad. Why don't we distribute this po para po naman lumago at lumaki ang pagkakataon ng mga bagong mga awit sa Pilipinas that could really um, respond to the call for change. Thank you for joining me, my dear friends, on this important discussion. Now, stay tuned for POV. This is my first edition. And as we grow by God's will, I will promise to bring to you more discussions, not only in the entertainment side, but maybe on lifestyles and issues or even politics in our country or in the world. So until next time, let's stand together for justice and equality in every field, especially for those who bring color and vibrancy to our lives through their art. This is Julius Obregon saying thank you and good night.